Enjoy early access to ad-free episodes each week when you subscribe to Wedding Planning Podcast Premium in Apple Podcasts. Enjoy the show. Why, hello there, and thank you so much for joining me today on this Friday follow-up Q&A show. This week on Wednesday, so just 2 days ago, we went through the most important tasks for you to handle in the final 4 to 6 weeks or so before your wedding day. And today I have a mailbox full of your follow-up questions on that show. These follow-up Q&A shows are not just for the previous week's episode, if that makes sense. So send your questions in. Please don't be shy. It does not have to be specifically about that week's show, although a lot of these questions are. I also have some that I'm going to get in here as well. I'll do as many as I possibly can. To be in touch with your questions, you can simply visit our website, weddingplanningpodcast.co, and look for the contact button. You can leave a voicemail with your own voice that I would absolutely love to share. I have one of those for you today. You can send me a written email. It's completely up to you, but please don't be shy. Can't wait to hear from you. Okay, so our first question for today is about Wednesday's show, the 4 to 6 weeks countdown. And the question is about the final venue walkthrough. So first up, both of our moms want to join us on the final venue walkthrough. I would selfishly love for it to be just the two of us. What are your thoughts? Okay, we're just dealing a tough one right out the gate here. This question to me feels like it comes with a bunch of landmines because emotions and relationships and feelings with our mothers can get complicated, let's say. I have a mother and I am a mother, and I can't even begin to imagine what it would feel like in 20, 25 years to have my own children getting married and the prospect that they may not want me to be involved in every single step of that process. As I said, though, I also am a daughter. And having been through the wedding planning process, and as someone who has a very, very close relationship with my mom, I can empathize with your wanting to have this be something that just you and your fiance are a part of. And in defense of that, I will say that in wedding planning and in life in general, sometimes the fewer cooks in the kitchen, the better. So I completely support your feelings. I completely understand your feelings. And I also completely understand why the two of your mothers are so excited and would absolutely love to be a part of that process. So I have kind of done a big circle around your question. I can't tell you if it's right or not for you to include or not include your mom and your fiance's mom, but sit down and think about kind of your relationship and your reasons why you want it to be just the two of you. And I will add, tacking this on to the end of my very long kind of non-answer, I will add that as you and your fiance now, but your husband soon to be, as the two of you kind of open a new chapter of your lives, there will be things in the future that you may want to experience just the two of you. Perhaps someday you have your own children involved. And there are a lot of situations, speaking from personal experience, there are a lot of situations where it is really special for John, who's my husband, for the two of us to do things with our two children that do not include our extended families, if that makes sense. So those times and those moments and those memories are very, very special to us as well. But again, I will reiterate, I am someone who is very, very close to my family. I'm very close to my mom and dad, and we're very close with John's mom and dad as well. So I don't think it makes you a bad person. I don't think you should feel horrible for excluding someone from something that you want to experience with your fiance. So sit down and kind of think that over and talk through it with your partner, see what their thoughts are about it. And if the two of you come to the conclusion that you do want it to be just the two of you at the final venue walkthrough, I am in 1,000% support of that. And I'm in 1,000% support of the other way as well. My best wishes to you. And I know that everything's going to turn out exactly the way it should. And another venue walkthrough question. We did our final walkthrough and it made me feel like maybe we've forgotten things. I have not ordered any custom signage or place cards, and I'm worried that the venue will look bare. Okay, great question. Fair enough. So in terms of drawing the line somewhere, I know that you, and I know this from previous conversations with this listener, you've done a lot over the past few months to choose a beautiful venue. I've seen pictures of this venue. It's gorgeous. There is no wedding law that says you have to have a custom sign at the entryway, or you have to have fancy table number signs, or you have to have a big, huge, elaborate place card display. So the fact that none of that has kind of registered as being important to you until right now kind of nudges me to nudge you to just kind of draw the line and say, you know what, we've worked really hard to plan this beautiful day. Everything that is done, and spend these last few weeks just really enjoying the rest of your engagement and being present and kind of enjoying the process. And I feel like I say this all the time. This doesn't just relate to wedding planning. It just kind of relates to life in general. There has to be a point where you just draw a line in the sand and say, I'm done. I've done everything I can do. Are there a million other things we could do and add on and source and buy and design? Yes, you could literally do that forever. There are endless bazillion things that you could do to decorate and make it fancier and make it nicer. Ooh, silence my notifications. Sorry about that. But just in terms of saying we've done what we want to do, you've done everything that's really important to you. And so the fact that you don't have custom signs or fancy place cards, don't worry about your venue looking bare at this point. Again, you've chosen a beautiful venue, and just take a deep breath and you're done. It's all good. You don't need to do more. And another one here related to decorations. We're concerned that our ceremony site doesn't have enough of a visual pop and we want it to feel special. Do you have any ideas for last minute archways or affordable decor? This again is for the ceremony space. I do like the idea of an archway if you have just a wide open ceremony space, just because it kind of grounds you and your partner as you're literally getting married. It makes like a nice visual anchor for pictures. However, this does not need to be elaborate, and it does not need to be a budget buster, especially now in the final just couple of weeks beforehand when it's kind of a last minute ad. You can, believe it or not, go on Amazon and they have pretty easy to assemble kind of ready-made situations that you can use for an archway. You could look into renting one. You could definitely pay someone a ton of money to come and set one up and decorate it with fresh flowers. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's necessary at all, to be clear. But if you do want something to anchor that space, I do think that's a good recommendation for how to do that. And then in terms of just affordable decor for a wide open ceremony spaces are kind of hard to decorate when you're outdoors. I'm sorry, I don't think I mentioned this is an outdoor wedding. It's a little tricky to decorate if you don't have existing trees and such to like hang lanterns out of or hang lights off. You could decorate the chairs. You could have an aisle runner. You could have the archway, like I mentioned. Go on Pinterest, look around a little bit, see if anything strikes you. But again, kind of the heart of my message when you're this close to your wedding day, when you're just 4 to 6 weeks out, I think that's kind of time to just say we've done what we can do. We have planned up to this point. Everything's going to be great. Whether or not you have a ceremony archway or any other decor at your ceremony is not going to impact the fact that after that ceremony, you will be married. And that's literally the point of everything that we're talking about and everything we discuss on the show. That's the point of your entire engagement leading up to now. So that's been kind of a theme in a couple of these questions, is a last minute panic, like, ooh, we should do more. We haven't done enough. And I don't think you should feel that way, because again, just dial it back to the reason you're getting married in the first place. The reason you're doing all of this is to celebrate a wedding with the person you love. And whether or not you have a million extra things, nobody is going to remember that, or certainly it's not going to influence the outcome of your day. Okay, next follow-up question to our show. This couple is making a pretty last-minute decision, and it looks like it's just about 2 months away from their wedding celebration date. And they have decided to officially get married at the local courthouse for a couple of personal reasons, including residency and insurance. Do we have to share this information with our guests? I am pretty amazed by how common this situation is. So whether you know it or not, I would be willing to bet that you have close friends and or family who have done exactly this, who have legally gotten married prior to the wedding celebration, and you may or may not have ever even known about it. It's a super common thing. I don't think you owe it to anyone to share this information. That's just my opinion. People feel differently about it, but it's my podcast and you asked me, so that's how I feel. Okay, next up we have another decor question, and I'm actually going to pipe in a listener's voice here for you to ask it.
Hi, I have a question about decor. So our wedding theme is like very whimsical and foresty woodland kind of. So our colors are like neutral browns and then lush greens and gold for like a pop. So our centerpieces and our tables I'm worried are gonna look kind of flat with all the greens, just because we're planning on doing a lot of moss and like pine and stuff like that. Do you have any advice on how to go about making those cleaner and maybe kind of crisp?
All right, great question. Thank you for being brave enough to leave me a voicemail. Not many of you do, and I love to hear them. So please, please, please head to weddingplanningpodcast.co/contact, and you can ask your question in your own words. There's a button right there to leave a voicemail. To answer this, I love using glass vases, twinkle lights, candles, golden glass on tables as centerpieces. We did a table centerpiece show not too long ago. I want to say it was just a few weeks ago. And in that show, I focused a lot on centerpiece ideas that do not involve flowers. And there are so many of them. I think we automatically think of flowering or flower centerpieces when we think of wedding table centerpieces, but there are so many creative ways to do this without using flowers and without using greenery. So I'm thinking big hurricane jars, or like hurricane vases, which are just really tall glass vases. I'm thinking you line them with twinkle light strands, which are super affordable, especially this time of year. We're approaching Black Friday, Cyber Monday. The shopping season is here, and bookmark that because I have another question on that coming up. But this is an easy way to source beautiful centerpieces that are going to kind of shine. I think you mentioned you want things to look kind of clean and crisp, and focusing on that gold, which is one of your accent colors, and then focusing on clear glass, gold glass, mercury glass, and lots of twinkling lights brings in that fairy theme as well. So you can even keep a garland element, or like a minor garland, to tie in your green color to the tables, but not overwhelm the centerpieces. Or another route. Instead of using a garland, and depending on your table shapes, you could simply tie in those lush green colors thematically in your table numbers, your place cards, your charger plates, your linens. However you wanted to do that, you could do it with things other than actual greenery and other than actual plants. This type of question really lends itself to having some solid visual examples. So I hopped on Pinterest and I got busy, and I actually made us a wedding planning podcast Q&A board that I will link to in the show notes if you want to take a look visually at what some of these ideas look like as they all come together. Is it too late to hire a month of coordinator? We are getting married in about 2 months from now. Logistically, I don't think it's too late. And if you're feeling at this point, getting down to the wire, about 2 months away, if you're feeling like you have more money than time, then I think exploring a month of coordinator is a great idea and a great option for you. Depending on your marketplace, where you live, and the availability of planners just across the board, it may or may not be a challenge to find someone. So the only way you'll find that out is by reaching out to a few people, send some messages, set up some meetings, and see if you can work something out. And the title, you mentioned month of coordinator. I'm sure you could work out a package with someone that could be the last 2 weeks before your wedding. They step in then and kind of really start to, take the wheel and handle things for you. You could look into doing a 6-week package. Most planners, most wedding professionals are generally pretty flexible. So again, not all are. Honestly, that a few might say, no, we don't do that. It's too late. No, we're not interested. But especially this time of year, and if you're listening live, we're recording in November, especially this time of year, I don't think you'll have a problem finding someone who has availability on their calendar and who would be more than willing to take on these last few weeks of juggling your vendors, doing follow-up, communicating with your venue, and just all of those tasks that you want to have taken off your plate. Never hurts to ask, never hurts to look. So best of luck. I hope you find someone. And then our last question for today is about your RSVPs. And this couple has gotten 3 unwanted, uninvited +1s who have come in on their RSVP cards, and they're wondering how to manage this. Sometimes the best way to confront an issue or a problem is simply to take a deep breath and do it head on. You don't need to be mean, you don't need to be rude, but you do need to be direct. And if this is absolutely a deal breaker for you and your fiance, and you're like, no, there's no way, these people are not coming to our wedding, either it's for personal reasons or you don't have room for them, that's totally fine. You just need to be very direct. So there's no beating around the bush. There's no playing a game of telephone where you tell your aunt, who tells your cousin, who relays the message to her sister that her Tinder boyfriend is not welcome to come. You need to pick up the phone and call the source and let them know, we do not have space at our venue. The invitation was only addressed for you. And I'm sorry, but your friend from the internet dating site that you're on is not invited to come. Okay, so rinse and repeat and do that for all 3 of your uninvited, unwanted +1s. All right, let's wrap it up. I hope you found today's show helpful. I hope it answered some of your questions. And I have an open door. I'll say it one more time. Visit weddingplanningpodcast.co/contact. You can send me an email. You can send me a voicemail. I can keep it totally anonymous. Not a problem. I would love to hear from you. Have a great day, and we will talk again next week.